What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, hey, this is a college football channel. If you like college football, if you follow the game of college football, you've come to the right place. After a long hiatus, I'm finally back posting videos. This is my post-spring top 25. I'm gathering intel from spring games, what these teams have done in the transfer portal, who they've recruited, and just overall how these teams have looked and are built together as of right now. There's going to be a lot of exciting football played around the country in 2023 and 2024. This is what I think of the 133 teams in the nation as of right now, and what I currently believe to be the 25 best of them. Hey, if you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video, comment, do whatever you can to help support the channel. It does really mean a lot to me. We're going to dive into the top 25 here. I'm going to try to keep this video shorter than the last one that I did back in February or March. I think it was like 47 minutes long or something like that. That's not going to happen again. I'm going to keep this video shorter. And the reason this video did not come out yesterday, which was my intention if I didn't get it out this weekend, I've been awaiting on the arrival of a new microphone, so sound quality is going to take a jump, or at least it should, once I get that microphone, but shipping and everything have been delayed. So you're stuck with the old one for right now, but there is a new one coming. All right, diving into the post-spring top 25, what do we have here as far as honorable mentions go? Got a team out of the Big 12 there in Kansas, had a remarkable 6-6 season last year, which, Nate, 6-6 isn't remarkable. Well, again, if you're new to college football, for Kansas, that's a really good season. They got a lot coming back, including their quarterback. They get up here. Texas A&M, we'll see if they can turn that ship around, but I thought about them as well as Arkansas. Some big expectations for the Razorbacks coming in this year. Maryland and Iowa, a couple Big Ten teams you see on the list. I think Maryland's ready to explode this year, and Iowa's a perennial contender to be a top 25 team. Team out of the Pac-12 there in UCLA. They got a lot of good skill positions around the quarterback position, which there's a three-way battle for that right now. You got Miami and Louisville coming out of the ACC. Hey, if Mario Cristobal can get that thing turned around at Miami, Miami can be pretty stinking good, especially getting Tyler Van Dyke back. And Jeff Brom's Cardinals. Yes, Jeff Brom did move from Purdue to Louisville. Louisville, I thought about putting in my top 25, and then you got to show the group of five some love. So Troy, UTSA, I think are two teams that are going to be playing some really, really good football this year. But none of these teams made my top 25. So let's go ahead and dive into the teams that did make my top 25. And again, if you're new around here, we go from bottom up. So starting out at number 25, the Oklahoma Sooners. I really like Oklahoma this year. Maybe not as much as some other people, but I do like what Oklahoma has this year. Look, you got Dylan Gabriel coming back. This is the team that Brent Venables coming into his second year. Last year was definitely a disappointing season. Excuse me, but however, this year for Oklahoma, expectations are supposed to be much higher. The team has the second best odds behind Texas to win the Big 12. I think Oklahoma's going to be pretty good this year. I think that defense is only going to get better with the Venables system. And Oklahoma I have here at number 25. They were not rated in my poll I put out in February or March. Speaking of the Big 12, how about Texas Tech? I think there's a real contender in Lubbock, and I talked about them a lot in my last video. But this Texas Tech team can be dangerous. They got a lot of great skill positions. The quarterback is coming back, and then you also have a pretty solid defense on the other side of the ball there as well. Watch out, fans of teams in the Big 12, because Texas Tech, when they go up against these teams like Kansas State, TCU, Texas, which we'll all see higher on my poll, Texas Tech can be a real contender. I like what the Red Raiders have in Lubbock. They're here at number 24. 23 is South Carolina. Beamer's done a phenomenal job of bringing this team together. Love what South Carolina has. Spencer Rattler comes back. You get Antoine Wells back. A lot of good pieces in the defense come back as well. Although, if I am right, you do lose a lot off of that defensive line at South Carolina, most notably Zach Pickens. However, I do think South Carolina is still going to be a really, really good team. I think South Carolina is going to be really, really good, and a team that maybe can't quite contend in the SEC as far as like championship hopes, but as far as pulling off some big upsets and some big wins, South Carolina excuse me, what am I trying to say? South Carolina has definitely got that potential to pull off some big wins this year. I'll say that. 22 is Tulane. This to me, by far and away, maybe besides UTSA, but Tulane, I think, is by far and away the best group of 5 team here. You have Michael Pratt coming back, lots of good skill positions coming back for Tulane in the defense that was able to carry them for a lot of last year. You get a lot of very nice pieces back on that defense. I really like what Tulane's got coming into 2023. They're my 22nd ranked team in the country as of right now. North Carolina. Now, as you have noticed, I have included trends from my last poll. So Texas Tech dropped a spot, South Carolina dropped a couple spots. But I haven't really thought any less of those two teams. Haven't really thought any less of Tulane either, just some teams rose. North Carolina, to me, really is the only team that took a tumble here. Taking a deeper look into North Carolina, I'm not as confident as I was back in February or March. Now, look, you do have Drake May, and that kid is going to be an absolute stud. He is a very, very good quarterback. Could be even better than Sam Howell was for the Tar Heels, as Drake May had a phenomenal season last year and is definitely one of the Heisman front runners coming into 2023. However, for North Carolina, I still have questions about this coaching staff. I still have questions about this defense, especially the defense. North Carolina on offense alone could definitely win 7 or 8 games. And if that defense improves, North Carolina could definitely be a double-digit win team. But for right now, I have Mac Brown's squad taking a little bit of a tumble, down 3 spots from 18 to 21. So there was 25 through 21. Taking a look at 20 through 16, I got Ole Miss right here at 20. I really do like what the Rebels have coming back. You have Jackson Dart coming back there as well. And although you're losing Luke Altmaier, hey, you get some quarterback competition now. Walker Howard is in. Spencer Sanders is in. So Jackson Dart, if he isn't up to standard, there are 1 or 2 other guys back there in that quarterback room that have good experience. Of course, Spencer Sanders played at Oklahoma State, and Walker Howard is an LSU transfer. So Ole Miss has got some great pieces on the offense side of the ball. One of the best running backs in the country, and Quinshawn Judkins comes back. You got some good wide receivers out there, and that defense, just year after year, man, has made those steady improvements. So I like what the Rebels have coming back. I think this can be a very good team in the SEC yet again in 2023. Wisconsin is a team that the more and more I look at, the more and more I think this is going to be a phenomenal first year for Luke Fickell. If you have lived under a rock for the entire winter and spring, Luke Fickell is at Wisconsin. He even coached their bowl game. But he's got some pieces to work with there. Of course, we know Wisconsin's going to have a great defense, and it could be even better now that the defensive mind like Luke Fickell is in there coaching that team. He's got his quarterback in Tanner Mordecai, a former Oklahoma and SMU transfer. You got Braylon Allen, Ches Malusi in the backfield. And again, I've already spoke on the defense. It's going to be good. I think Wisconsin is, in my opinion, the clear favorite to walk away out of the wide open Big Ten West into Indianapolis. But I think Wisconsin could do a lot more than that. This has the potential to be a double-digit win team if everything gets put together. TCU, they made the national championship and then got embarrassed by the 2-time national champion Georgia Bulldogs. TCU I have here at number 18. It's going to be rough. Life after Max Duggan and Quentin Johnson is going to be a little hard for TCU fans. But hey, as long as Sonny Dykes is there, he's proven he can do a lot with maybe what people think is not one of the best rosters in football. He proved us that last year. They have one of the better rosters in football this year. It's just a matter of whether or not they use it correctly again. TCU can surprise everybody again. I see it as unlikely, but still going to be a very good football team, very competitive in the Big 12 in 2023. They're here at 18. Oregon State. Now, a lot of people have the Beavers higher on the list than them. I just like a couple teams more than Oregon State, especially out of their own conference in the Pac-12. DJ Uiagalelei is that quarterback now for Oregon State. If you haven't heard, he's the former Clemson quarterback. And, of course, Clemson has transferred over to Cade Klubnik. But Oregon State, man, this is going to be a very dangerous team now. You lose your all-around performer, I believe, in Jack Coletto. But, look, all in all, man, this Oregon State team, they've got the offense. They've got the defense. This team can make some noise in the Pac-12. Jonathan Smith's team, I am very confident in having another 8, maybe 9-win season here at Oregon State. And I think the Beavers are going to come ready to play this year. They're my number 17th or excuse me, they're my 17th ranked team in the nation. Kansas State, reigning Big 12 champs, are back here in the poll, and they have jumped quite a bit. They've jumped up to 16. I believe I had them at 20 in my last poll, if I'm doing that math right. Look, Kansas State, you get a lot coming back as well, and you just extended Chris Kleiman through 2030. The defense should still be good. The offense should still be good. And this is the Kansas State team that, especially throughout spring ball, much like Wisconsin, I don't know if I mentioned the spring ball through Wisconsin, but I was very impressed with them. I was pretty impressed with Kansas State as well, and that's what they made a jump. And I know that's not what they're going to be in the fall at all. Like, spring does not always correlate to fall, but based on the rosters and what I've seen and what they've done in the portal, Kansas State is definitely one of the contenders in the Big 12, so they're up here to 16. Moving into the top 15 now, we have another Big 12 team, and that is Texas. Oh boy, here we go again, right? The Texas is back talk is finally here. Some people even have Texas going to the college football playoff. I'm not quite that high on Texas yet. However, what I will say is I think this is Texas's best team in recent memory. And by recent memory, I mean like the past 4 to 5 years. Texas has got Quinn Ewers back. They've got some quarterback competition there. Arch Manning has come in. So two really good quarterbacks going to be battling it out. I think it's hard to see Quinn Ewers not win that job. But Arch Manning, really highly rated prospect. He's going to be there, given Quinn Ewers some quarterback battle. Now, you do lose Bijan Robinson, Roschon Johnson, so life after them in the running back room is going to be tough. But hey, a lot of Texas got plagued by a lot of injuries last year, and you get a lot of those guys back. Not only Xavier Worthy, who could be is one of the best wide receivers in the country. Isaiah Nair comes back as well. A couple pieces on the offensive line, and this defense has some guys on it. So Texas right now is the favorite to win the Big 12. I think I would agree with that sentiment. Texas is going to be really good this year. Who knows if that leads to Texas being back, maybe a college football playoff berth for the University of Texas. A couple Pac-12 teams up here. We got Utah at 14. Cam Rising is coming back again. And I think as long as he is there, and as long as this defense stays aggressive, this is the Utah team that's going to do great things. They've won the Pac-12 the past couple of years now. They've made 2 straight Rose Bowls, both of which they've lost. So Utah's got some expectations now to get back to a Rose Bowl. And to even win one this year, I think, is the expectation for Utah in 2023. But Cam Rising, really, really good player. You have Brant Keithy coming back, his very reliable tight end. This is going to be a very good Utah team. And now, speaking of very good, though, Oregon, right? Oregon is a very interesting team because Oregon, look, you have Bo Nix coming back. A lot of transfers are coming and going from this Oregon team. There's quite a bit of roster overhaul. You lose your offensive coordinator in Kenny Dillingham. This might be a little bit of a different Oregon team. Now that I say that, Bo Nix does come back, so that's a huge get back for Oregon. And a lot of people have this team rivaling the likes of USC and Washington in the Pac-12, and absolutely, I can see it. I just don't think Oregon, not in my mind, are there quite yet. So for right now, I am a little lower on Oregon than maybe most people are. But the Oregon Ducks are going to be one of the better teams in the country in 2023. And for me, they sit right here at 13. Tennessee sits at 12. They had a remarkable season last year. And even though they lose Hendon Hooker, they might have the quarterback with the biggest arm in all of college football, and that is Joe Milton. And yes, you lose a lot of pieces from that wide receiver core there as well, but you get some transfers in. You're returning Squirrel White. I do know that. Getting some pieces on the defense back there as well. And I think the defense should be better in 2023. Not that it was bad for Tennessee last year, but I do think it's going to be better in 2023. And this is the Tennessee team that, when you look at the schedule, it's the first time I'm talking about the schedule here, but things set up right. They don't even play Georgia until, my apologies, they don't even play Georgia until week 12, it is, right? Second to last game of the season. Tennessee's going to be well and rolling by then. They got a couple tricky games on the schedule. Of course, you got a date with Alabama. That's always there. But Tennessee, I think, is going to be really good yet again this year. And then Notre Dame I have here at 11. Sam Hartman has come into town for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They got a lot of good pieces there. Now, sadly, couple pieces are transferring out of this Notre Dame program, but with what they have there, Marcus Freeman, in I believe his second or third year as head coach. I'm not sure. I'm blanking on that right now. But Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, I think, is going to be well equipped and well set to have a really successful season. Now you got Ohio State on the schedule. You got USC on the schedule. There are a couple other games in there that are tricky. Duke and Louisville, I believe, are both on the schedule for Notre Dame as well. So tricky schedule, but they got the roster and now the big playability of Sam Hartman to do it there at 11. All right. We do have one change to the top 10. As you see, Notre Dame drop down to 11. So who cracked the top 10? It's Clemson. Clemson cracked into the top 10. So with the Clemson Tigers, of course, they're making a transition from DJ Uiagalelei to Cade Klubnik, a transition that I think is going to benefit them in the long run. Now, when you're looking at this Clemson Tiger team, there are a couple pieces being lost, especially on the defensive side. But hey, if we know Clemson, we know this defense is still going to be really, really, really good. However, they do lose a lot of guys off of that defense last year. And the offense, it's been a little lackluster the past couple seasons. So we will definitely see what the Clemson Tigers are going to be able to do in 2023. But one of the favorites to win the ACC, as they are every single year. A bonus, you look at a team that's 2 spots ahead of them in the poll. They get Florida State at home. And then, of course, that final game against South Carolina is not going to be easy. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cade Klubnik does first year as a full-time starter. We'll see what Clemson's able to do in 2023. Jumping into the top 9 now, this is where I have LSU. Now, there are a lot of people that are higher on LSU than most. It's just very close here, in my opinion, from 9 all the way up to 4. I think that range is very, very close. LSU just happens to be down here at 9, but I think LSU is going to do great in 2022. They return Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier as well. So you got 2 quarterbacks back there that really are good weapons, both a little different style of play, but both are really, really good pieces. Got some good guys in the running back room, wide receiver room. Mason Taylor is back there as well. Harold Perkins might be the best defensive player in the country, a linebacker for LSU. This team is set to do everything they need to do in Brian Kelly's second year. Only problem, LSU's got to play the team ahead of them right now, which is Florida State. Now, if you watched my top 25 video back in February, I had a little bit of a bold prediction. In fact, it might be a lot of it of a bold prediction, but I did say the team I have right here at number 8, the Florida State Seminoles, are going to be making the college football playoff. And I'll still admit, I am still pretty high on Florida State. I think this can be a 10, 11, maybe undefeated team, although undefeated very unlikely. However, when I did some more digging on Florida State, this is why they've dropped 4 spots. The skill position grouping definitely needs some work. Florida State, I think, would be the most benefit of Keon Coleman, the leading receiver for Michigan State, who has since entered the transfer portal, has not decided where he's going to go yet. He's visited Ole Miss, he's visiting Texas A&M, he's visited Florida State, and I think Florida State could really, really use him. Florida State's got a lot of big bodies in that wide receiver room. Why not add another one, and a dynamic one at that, in Keon Coleman? But that's a video for another day. What Florida State does have is Johnny Wilson, another big-bodied, wide receiver. Some great pieces in the running back room, and on defense you got guys like Jared Verse and others that are just so versatile. And this is going to be a really good Florida State team. And right now is my pick, I'll tell you right now, to go ahead and win the ACC. But this is the Florida State team that I was really high on. I'm still high on them, maybe not as high on them as I was. And look, that Florida State LSU game, first week of the season, it's on Sunday. No other games played. No reason you shouldn't watch it. It's going to be a phenomenal football game. Couple Pac-12 teams here at 6 and 7. They've each jumped up a spot. Washington, I got right here at number 7. Washington returns Michael Penix. Odunze is one of the best wide receivers in the country. And this is a Washington defense that, if they can stay healthy, they've had some injury problems the past couple years. If Washington's defense can stay healthy, this can be a college football playoff ready team. I really do think Washington is a team that can go win the Pac-12, as you should normally, or as you should assume by this Washington team. Michael Penix is going to be a Heisman contender. Again, they got some really good weapons in the running back and wide receiver room. And again, if that defense stays healthy, that's a Washington team that can rival the likes of USC, who I have here at 6. Some more roster turnover for Lincoln Riley. He's used the portal quite well, but he does get Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams coming back to play for this team, and that is a huge get back. I believe he's favored to win the Heisman Trophy again in 2023 as USC looks to now make that push to the college football playoff, where they haven't been yet in the playoff era. They haven't even won the Pac-12. They were in the Pac-12 championship game last year. Caleb Williams got hurt. Utah ended up winning that, but USC still got some weapons at wide receiver. Just whether or not this team can field a defense, right? The defense has been a weakness of Lincoln Riley teams for how long now? This is definitely a USC team that can definitely benefit from having defensive run support, if you will, on the other side of the ball. And they got some guys. I'm not saying the defense is bad. They do have some guys there that can make this defense pretty good, but it's just a matter of proving it, matter of getting it on the field. Seeing the defense in spring, it was okay for sure, but definitely still has some strides to go if it wants to really contend for the college football playoff national championship. Now diving in to the top 5 here. These are fully what I believe to be the best 5 teams in America right now. And I got Penn State at number 5. Look, if Drew Aller is the real deal, this Penn State team is going to be very, very good. You got some great pieces in the wide receiver room. You have what could possibly be the best running back room in the entire country. Nick Singleton back there among some other names. And this defense is just loaded with names. And I know they lost some names from last year, but it is loaded with great talent. James Franklin, after taking a little bit of a dive here at Penn State, they're back on the up and up. And maybe Penn State is a team right now that is a year away from contending the 2 teams you see right here at 2 and 3. But if Drew Aller is the real deal, while you have to travel to Columbus, you get Michigan at home. That could be huge for Penn State. You avoid Wisconsin, who I think is the best team in the West on the other side. Again, a lot of it hinges on Drew Aller and if he is the real deal. But a lot of people think he is, and I do too. This is going to be a really good Penn State team. Alabama is sitting right here at number 4. They are up 2 spots, and I was still going to have a lot of questions about Bama coming into the year, if not for the transfer of Tyler Buchner. Now, if you haven't really been paying a lot of attention to spring ball, there was a lot of buzz going around the Notre Dame program when Tyler Buchner was still there that he could beat out Sam Hartman for the starting job. And for Alabama, a team that loses Bryce Young and was in need of a quarterback, Tyler Buchner seems like the perfect fit, and he's probably going to be that starting quarterback for Alabama. Now, this team does have one of the better secondaries in the country. Still a lot of weapons around the wide receiver and running back room. Alabama, as they are every year, is still going to contend for an SEC title and a national championship. And getting Tyler Buchner is huge. That's why they've jumped up 2 spots here to number 4. Now, when you look at the top 3 teams, they remain unchanged. That's because I fully believe these are the best 3 teams in America as of right now in this order. There have been a lot of lists out there, and you guys know the colors that I represent. If this green screen was down, there'd be a big scarlet and gray blanket back here. You guys know the colors I wear, but you guys also know that I can keep it real. Ohio State is a team that needs to show some defensive improvement. Now, with the transfers that they've added, Ohio State's defense can be elite in 2023. And quarterback is definitely a big question mark. However, Kyle McCord does have playing experience and is that probable starter. And if you know me in real life or you've watched my videos, I've probably said it in videos, but especially if you know me in real life, I have said many, many times, probably for almost 8 months to a year now, Kyle McCord, Devin Brown, whoever starts for this Ohio State team, has been given the keys to whatever your favorite luxury vehicle is, whether that be a Bugatti, Lamborghini, Porsche, whatever it is. He's got Marvin Harrison, Emeka Egbuka, who could be the best 2 receivers in the country, and right now who I think are. You got a really good running back room. The offensive line is definitely another question mark for this Ohio State team, especially at the tackle position. When you lose guys like Paris Johnson, you're also having to replace that center, Luke Whippler. But back to my analogy about sports cars, right? Kyle McCord, Devin Brown, whoever starts, has been given the keys to this sports car, and all you have to do is not crash it into a ditch and keep it on the road. Kyle McCord, Devin Brown do not have to be spectacular, even though Kyle McCord's one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy this year. But Ohio State's got some real problems. Again, that defense still being questioned, and that offensive line, especially towards the outsides at the tackle position, really is or could prove to be a weakness for Ohio State this year. However, I do expect that defense to get better, and this is an Ohio State team that, come on, they reload every single year. This is Ohio State we're talking about, but they are steps behind the teams that they see at 2-1. Michigan is here at number 2. This is a Michigan team that right now I am picking to win the national championship. I really like what Michigan has here. J.J. McCarthy comes back, Blake Corum comes back, and even though you lose a couple pieces in the wide receiver room, that can still be a really good wide receiver and tight end room as well. They're going to have one of the best, if not the best, offensive lines in the Big Ten, if not the entire country. The defense is getting a little bit of overhaul, but it should still be really, really good for Michigan here. And hey, this just seems like another year where it's a perfect storm for Michigan, much like 2021. You get Ohio State at home, you beat them 2 years in a row now, and you have everybody coming back, and it's the Ohio State team that as of right now has some questions. Now, who knows where those two teams are going to be in November? But those two teams have a very, very good likelihood of meeting in Ann Arbor in the Big House with identical 11-0 records yet again, much like they did last season. Ohio State, I think, has definitely got some more questions to answer than Michigan, but when we're talking about the Wolverines, this is not only my favorite to win the division, not only my favorite to win the Big Ten, not only a favorite to go ahead and make the national championship game, I think they're going to win the whole dang thing. That is how I am feeling as of right now. But, of course, you can't have a college football poll without putting the number one team in the nation, the Georgia Bulldogs, in their rightful place at number 1. They've won 2 straight national championships, and you could argue this is the best roster in football. And no matter who plays quarterback, you got lots of dudes to work with. And there's a defense. You look at all they've lost over the past 2 seasons, especially to the NFL draft. Georgia is a team that is just miles ahead of everybody else in college football right now. They are the new dynasty, and it's going to be hard to beat them out because when you look at Georgia's schedule, they were supposed to play Oklahoma. They had to cancel that game. Their schedule sets up very nicely, and there is no reason why Georgia should not be the number 1 team in the nation as of right now. That defense looks spectacular. The skill positions look spectacular. Quarterback still might be a little bit of a question mark, but I'm not too worried about Carson Beck or Brock Vandergriff, although more worried about Vandergriff than Carson Beck. Georgia's definitely going to be one of, if not the favorite, to win the national championship again in 2023. And they're looking to make it 3 in a row, something that, golly, I don't know, it's been how long since the team has three-peated a national championship. Georgia can be the team to do it. This is still a very, very good roster, very good coaching staff. Kirby Smart is an absolute genius. And Georgia's got that number 1 spot in the nation locked down until they get proven otherwise. And that is going to do it for my top 25 video. Again, if your favorite team is not as high as they'd like, it's just my thoughts and opinions as of right now. Let me know your top 25 list down in the comment section below. I'm really happy to be back making videos, and hopefully in my next video, I'll have a brand new microphone and sound quality should be a little bit better for you guys. But until the next video, rewind, look through my top 25. Tell me your thoughts on what I have, and again, tell me your top 25. But remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.